Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He is diverting attention from the fact that people are dying in our country. Children are hungry. Families are fearing eviction. Workers are concerned about getting money into their pockets. State and local governments are suffering from the virus and the rest. And we're talking about whether he can have a political event at the White House. He can't.
I know, he can't. It's funny. Trump can't win or lose. He can't. If he went to Florida, people are like, he shouldn't go. No, he shouldn't have it there. Where should he have it? Just go out on the street. Just go out on the street, accept your award. I mean, which is you get to be, and it's award. You're awarded the opportunity to run for a second term. We choose you and move on with your damn self. So stupid. People are, guys, everybody needs to take a deep breath. They do. We're going to be fine. We're going to get through this. When I listen to Pelosi, and I listen to so many of both, by the way, right, like Mitch McConnell, everybody else, the talking heads and the powers that be find every chance to make everything political. Everything. No, he shouldn't. If I'm him, I have it at a Denny's, right? You like McDonald's, have it at McDonald's. Did you guys hear? Trump's going to have his convention. He's going to give his speech at McDonald's. He shouldn't go to a McDonald's. Where do you want him to go? Well, we don't want him to get it. Okay, but he's going to. Where's Biden going to accept his speech? I don't know. Probably the basement. He's going to accept it and give his speech right there. Right? Another 1.2 million people filed for unemployment last week, down from the previous weeks. The market and the space of employment and the economy is trying to work its way back into something that is completely volatile from day to day. It's nuts. It is. You're talking about where he's going to get his what? Get his acceptance speech and have his thing where he accepts the nomination and give the, well, he shouldn't do it here because he can't do it here because then, you're talking about all of these rules. Okay, fine. Where can he do it in a pandemic? Everybody's making new crap up for the pandemic. He shouldn't have it in North Carolina. Look what's going on there. Shouldn't have it in Florida. So they're not going to have it. They're going to cut it down. Some things they have to do in North Carolina. It's already set up. It's closed doors. Well, and by the way, then everything else is going to be behind closed. Well, he shouldn't do that. Get over yourselves. Let's focus on things that matter. Let's focus on things that matter. For the last 6 months, I have listened to politicians scare the ever-loving crap out of everybody with the coming, here comes this pandemic that's going to kill the world, destroy the earth. 3 million people are going to die. 2 million people are going to die. 1 million. We're in August. 155,000 people have died. Our death rate is one of the lowest in the world when you look at per capita percentage. Look at it. Just look at it. And dare I say, we have the hardest job of all in the United States. Now, there's criticism to go around. I think Trump at times has shown very little empathy. I think to some of his throwaway things like, it is what it is, or, it'll go away eventually. Kind of those kind of things. I just sit there and I shake my head. I say, you could do better. You could do so much better. So much of what Trump does causes him more headache and doesn't win people over that he needs to win over if he wants to win in November. But then you have everybody else out there who basically just screams and yells and says, "Oh my God, this is it." I mean, listen to what Trump says. He's an idiot.
It's going away. No, it'll go away. Like things go away. Absolutely.
I just sit there and I laugh and I'm thinking, all right, you shouldn't say stuff like that. There's a better way of going. Do I think it's eventually going to go away? I don't know if it's going to go away. I think eventually we figure out a way to contain it, control it, and we move on with our life. It sucks. It's a speed bump. People are suffering out there through no fault of their own. Unemployment's through the roof. We've not seen anything like this since the Great Depression. The media spends 24 hours a day trying to scare the crap out of you with their quote-unquote real journalistic news. It's not. It's not. It's a bunch of crap. The average person in America, the tired, exhausted majority, you're still working. Some of you may not be working as many hours. Some of you may have had to close your place down. You just want to get it open. You're looking around saying, okay, why can't I open? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? If mass works, and that's what science says, and if I can control the number of people that come into my business, why can't I open my place of business? If they don't work, then what the hell are we doing? State after state, everybody's like, well, every governor's bumbled it in some way, shape, or form. Our governor here, through no fault or success of his, Arizona's turned the corner. But he's kind of ignored everything. He's let everybody that is the mayor kind of handle their own business, which is fine. But he's really ignored it. Yesterday, he's in D.C. He's going to be in D.C. today. He hasn't given by the time he holds another press conference, it'll be about 2.5 weeks. Everybody needs to take a deep breath. Let's focus on the things that matter. How about that? Let's focus on the things that matter. People, you know what people need? What are you guys going to do? $600 there. That's going away. People are worried about being evicted through no fault of their own. They're struggling. They've seen their businesses, the places they've worked, shut down or reduced to the point where they can no longer earn a living. And it's a pissing contest between people who are trying to make other people happy, not the people happy.
It's pretty unbelievable to hear people in this side of the aisle making $175,000 a year as U.S. senators. Most of my colleagues are millionaires, and they complain that these unemployed workers are getting $600 a week. They complain that these workers are getting too much money as we earn $175,000 a year.
Yeah, that is a little ridiculous. I also think it's ridiculous to overpay for unemployment for a period of time that we don't need to. If you want to extend it through the end of the year, $600, but we rip the Band-Aid off January 1st, I got zero problems with that. Let's make it a clean bill. All right? Let's make it an absolutely clean bill. You take away, and the Republicans, you get the liability that you want, meaning you can't hold anybody liable if you get the coronavirus at work, because you wouldn't even know where you got it. And we move on with our lives. What are they trying to do? They're putting pork in. That's what they're doing, kids. They're putting pork in. What's that? It's pork. It's absolute pork.
I'm very upset with my colleagues. They went 8 years. They should apologize now to President Obama for complaining that he was spending and borrowing too much. He was a piker compared to their borrowing that they're doing now. So, yes, these Republicans, they should have to apologize, and they should by law be forbidden from ever saying that they're fiscally conservative. That's just tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah. Why? Because they're putting stuff in there. Pork. Spending money. No, Nancy, I don't want to cover public sector unions that are going broke, that are unfunded liabilities. No, I don't want to build a new FBI building and have new F-35 airplanes that have nothing to do with the coronavirus inside of this. Make it simple and easy. That's what people are looking for.
We were already running $1 trillion short just with our normal budgetary expenses for the year. We added $3 trillion. Now they're talking about another $1 to $2 trillion. We're going to borrow $5 trillion in 5 months. I remember when conservatives complained about George W. Bush borrowing $5 trillion in 8 years.
Yeah. It's nuts. It is. Bitching, whining, moaning. Rand Paul's the only one that's going, you know what? I'm going to take a hard pass on this. You guys? For me, I've said, split the difference is okay, but at some point in time, we're going to have to rip off the Band-Aid. We're going to have to do it. This needs to be a straightforward thing. We need to figure out a way to get people back to work. I think at some point in time we look and say, which I've been saying, it's personal responsibility. That's all it is, people. Little social distancing, wear a mask when applicable. You're going into a store, you wear a mask, do the best you can to social distance, and this thing's going to go away. It is not the death blow. It's not the Ebola virus. It's not. It spreads easy. Yeah, I get that. It's time, though, we get back to work. It's time we learn to live with it, around it, and through it. People are getting sick and tired of this. And the sick and tiredness of what's going on in Washington, you should all be pissed with. I'm talking for the exhausted majority, not the crazies that live out on the fringes on either side. The other 70 or 80% of us who are here, a little bit left, a little bit right, who are just over this. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Hope you are doing well on this beautiful day. I got a funny story. I have a funny story about somebody's trying to cancel us here in Phoenix. It was spectacular. When you hear this? Rough Greens. My dog Doodle last night. He was nuts. So you guys know about Doodle. He's got arthritis. He had fatty tumors in his hips. He was struggling walking. He always had a little hitch in his giddy up, but it got to the point where he didn't even do anything. And it was sad. So we didn't know what to do. We tried everything, and we were just thinking, let's just make his, last couple weeks and months as comfortable as possible. But eventually, sooner rather than later, we're going to have to put him down. Then we tried Rough Greens. We turned to Rough Greens, and it's not pet food, right? It's not dog food. You just sprinkle it on their dog's food. It's like adding a little bit of seasoned salt or something. Tastes great, but it brings the dog's food to life. It's got minerals and digestive enzymes, strains of probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. And it is so incredible, the transformation. In about 10 days, you're like, whoa. In 2 weeks, it's amazing. We're 3+ months into this, and he's a new dog. We've got puppies. We give it to them. They love it. He bounces around like you couldn't believe. And things that I never thought I'd see with my dog, Doodle. If you love your dogs, you'll get them Rough Greens. $14.95. That's it for a 14-day jumpstart. Simple and easy. It's the best thing you'll ever do for your pups. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MyDog88. That's ruffgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MyDog88. Rough Greens. We make any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
Oh, yes, he will. I think they've already, I think it's 3 debates that they decided on. So, yeah, they'll be there.
I think it's 2. Okay. Do you think it's unhelpful for other Democrats to suggest that Joe Biden shouldn't debate the president?
Oh, no, Joe will make up his own mind.
Whichever mind that is. It's not very nice, Chad. Yesterday, this was yesterday, you heard it. I'm not going to play it. I mean, we played it and laughed at it yesterday. And look, and I'm not talking about from a political standpoint. Just from the standpoint of a human being watching another human being, there are issues that you can say, Joe is struggling, right? He's struggling. Because if that was your grandfather, if that was your father or your mother, whatever, and you had brothers and sisters, like, we need to have a conversation about dad. You can't do that, right? Trump is crazy, but Biden is totally all together. No, I think it's a fair question to ask. The non-political thing. Then on the political side, it's a damn fair question to ask. So yesterday, when we talked about when he was trying to say, physical and mental fitness, and he kept, I was laughing at people like, you need to be canceled. You need to be boycotted. Because you're making fun of somebody with a stutter. He had a stutter when he was a kid, allegedly. It was the 1800s. We don't really... This isn't about the stutter. Like, when you answer the iron, and high-five the blender and introduce the refrigerator as your wife has nothing to do with stuttering. Right? It doesn't. It doesn't have anything to do with stuttering. So they were calling the bosses here. It was hilarious. We're like, here's the number. Go ahead. This has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with stuttering. And I'm going to say this. If Biden doesn't debate, even if you can't stand Trump, write somebody else in. If you want, but if he doesn't debate, that to me is insane. That you would even think about putting somebody like that into a position of power. We talk about it all the time with Trump. We do. Trump's the one with the track record. Trump's the one with the warts and all the stuff that goes with it. And I think Biden will. But here's a question. Let's say the first one goes really bad for Biden. Does he show up for 2 and 3? I think Trump feels like he's in those rounds that we used to call champion rounds in boxing. So there's 12 rounds. So the 10th, 11th, and 12th are the championship rounds. Because you make it to there, chances are you're close. And if you're not close, you've got the puncher's chance. I think Trump's thinking, I hope I get it close and then I can really go for it. But even if it's not close in the polling at that moment in time, I got a puncher's chance in those last 3. Every right to ask a question about Joe Biden and his mental abilities and capabilities. And the other thing, yesterday, when he's talking about, like you getting tested for cocaine right before you come on the show, and then he's like, are you a junkie? The guy that asked the question was black. Could you imagine if Trump did that? Trump calls all black people junkies. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the programs, The Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The nearly 1.2 million new claims for unemployment benefits is fewer than it's been, but still the 20th consecutive week of jobless claims above 1 million. It may be a sign layoffs due to the coronavirus pandemic are finally easing, even if the economic pain lingers. The Labor Department will give us a broader picture on Friday in the monthly jobs report. Economists expect that'll show job growth and a drop in the unemployment rate.
It's good. It's what we want, right? Isn't that what we want? Of course it's what we want, Chad. That's what we want. Take politics out of it. The average person at this moment in time wants to make sure that they've got food on the table, a roof over their head, and they can at least keep their heads above water. Let's keep in mind 80% of America is still working. 80% of America is still working as far as the work age population, people that should be working. I'm not talking about like 5-year-olds or 75-year-olds. I'm talking about 80% of the people that are work capable are still working. Pretty good, considering what we're going through. So we need to get back to work. We need to get back doing the things that we do. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to be all right. I posted something today on Twitter. I said, just tell me something good about yourself. Tell me something good that's going on in your life. Right? Your family's healthy. What is it? And, people are going, some people are going, I don't have anything good. You have nothing? You have nothing? Nothing good? Well, So it's amazing. So you're on Twitter, living in a world where it's the best time in human history, and even with this is the best time in human history that we can have something like this happen. And there's nothing good because you live in fear. It's insane. I got a healthy family. I got my lizards. With Chad, you're still working. Yeah, I am. And I work a lot. That's right. I'm blessed. I am blessed. You got nothing? Some people are chiming in. My family's healthy. This thing's not as deadly as I thought. Still have a roof over my head. We've got to start seeing more positive, but it's so much easier to see the negative. Negative is way easier. It's so much easier to be negative. We need to flip the script. We need to start looking positive. We need to see. Let's look at the numbers. The numbers are going down. Well, that's not true. No, it is true. Go look at the deaths. Go look at the mortality rate. Go look at the charts. The numbers are going down. There were times in New York, the beginning of this, there was 1,000 people a day. We don't lose anybody. I get that. But the numbers are going down. The reality is what was going to be 2 million, 3 million, then 1 million. It's not growing like that. It's 155, 156,000. And it sucks that there's it's funny because we all say it sucks that it's one. Of course, we don't want anybody to die, but the reality is if that 155,000 wasn't there, people are still dying every day. You don't see people. CNN doesn't have a scroll up for cancer or heart disease, which is still beating this. We're going to get through this, and it's frustrating. And, one of the things that, Dr. Fauci said something here that I think we need to understand. When you look at our way of living, we are a republic, which is much different than being a singular entity like so many nations.
We have somewhat of a disjointed approach to things based on the fact that we have a big country that's really very, very different in demography, different in level of infection. We have a broad population that is the young people who can get infected and think that, in fact, it doesn't have any impact on them, when, in fact, they are part of the propagation of the outbreak.
Yeah, and they're not going to die. And it sucks that they can spread. And when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you kind of thought you were invincible anyways, right? You did. You kind of thought, it's not going to happen to me. Because everybody thinks that. But we have a big country. We have 50 little countries all doing their own things, who all want just enough help in some areas, but not too much. We want the feds to come in a certain situation, but not too much. Right? Just enough, but not too much. Everybody's doing their own thing. World's coming to an end. Settle down. Stop your doom scrolling. Serious. It is amazing. It is. We have the Declaration of Independence. Let's talk about that. It's independent. And we are very independent-minded in a lot of ways. We're like and think about how young our country is. In many ways, we're kind of like a toddler. Like, we want to do it ourselves. We're going to do it ourselves. You don't have to hold on. I'm going to be fine. Let me do it. And you follow? It's kind of what's going on. We have 50 independent states all doing their own thing this weekend, right? Sturgis is going to happen. There'll be 250,000 plus people there, down from about 500,000 last year. Their governor's like, we're welcoming these people. They're doing their own thing. Well, they're going to spread it. Settle down with your spreading it. First of all, they're all bikers. You really worried? What's the old adage when they used to go to the emergency room? If they have more tattoos than teeth, they're probably going to survive. We do our own thing. We're very independent-minded people, which makes it tough at times. We enjoy our freedom, but we like to know that there is a safety net there. And this is a different time because states are coming in and they're shutting things down and they're opening some stuff up. They're shutting things down with zero scientific evidence of why you shut this particular thing down. And yet you let this thing open. It's haphazard in a lot of ways because it's not uniform. It's easy. If let's say you're California, right? And you're 40 million people. So you're 4 times the size of Sweden. 4 times the size of Sweden. If you look at the numbers, you have 500,000. Whoa. People have gotten it. But then you look at the death numbers and you're like, well, we're down around, 1.5%? It's not the worst. And if you probably add on the fact that for every one person there is positive, depending on what the CDC, which study you believe this day from the CDC, chances are you're saying, oh, this thing really isn't more deadly than the flu, maybe even less deadly when all is said and done. It just spreads a lot faster, so the net's a lot bigger. But they're doing their own thing. Arizona next door is doing their own thing. New York did their own thing. Texas doing their own thing. Florida. Remember New York, man? Oh, Cuomo was the bee's knees. It's the greatest of all. This guy should run for president. He may swoop in and save the day. And you look at his numbers compared to California, maybe Gavin Newsom should run for president. He probably will. I'm not a big fan. Look at Florida and Texas. Their numbers. Better? Yeah. But all I hear about is how horrible they are. Don't buy all this hype at the media. Do your own research. Don't even buy my hype. Go do your own stuff. But we're overthinking this, and we're putting ourselves in a position where we are pitted against one another, and we make everything way too complicated.
There is a degree of anti-science feeling in this country, not just related to science, it's almost related to authority and a mistrust in authority that spills over because scientists, because they're trying to present data, may be looked upon as being authoritative figure. And the pushing back on authority is pushing back on government is the same as pushing back on science. Unfortunately, that's not what scientists are. Science and evidence-based policy is so important.
Here's the thing, though. Whose science do I believe? That's a fair question. Whose science do I believe? Everybody brings out their science. And the reason for the pushback on the authority side of things, Dr. Fauci, is because when science gets politicized, see the colleges and the woke culture, there is a certain sense of, yeah, time to push back. I feel like science is being politicized and weaponized because it is. I have no doubt in my mind, Fauci, like a lot of people who look at this, but this guy's got a much different thing because here is what he wants to do, and he comes at it from a way where it's health-oriented, and this is what he thinks is best based on the data that he has. This is what he wants. He wants to stop the spread. Who doesn't? He wants to flatten the curve. Who doesn't? He wants to play it cautious and prevent defense. Other people out there, they have a different thing. They look at it in a much different way. But when they're shut down, and they're people also who are doctors and scientists, can't we ask a question? Whose science do we believe? It's a fair question. It's not of course we're everybody's that way. Every human being's that way. We love to push back. We love to be contrarian, especially us. Americans love to be contrarians. Everybody's got a friend who's a contrarian. The minute you agree with them, they'll go, but when you see stuff weaponized and you see stuff become politicized, he's on every single show. Why is he on every single show? Well, because he's, in many cases, always against the president. You think that's political? Absolutely it is. I don't think Fauci really wants to be political. Birx of the two is very political. Fauci, not so much. But they have you on because you go against, in many cases, what the president says, or is at least perceived that way. That's politics. That's why people push back. That's why people push back. Yesterday, I'm sitting here watching Aaron Burnett interview Dr. Rush of Yale, epidemiologist. He's like a big teaching professor there. He's an idiot, obviously, who's talking about hydrochloroquine. And here she is telling him basically how stupid he is and all these things. And he's like, look, those reports are right. I'm not talking about hydrochloroquine, at the end stages as a Hail Mary. I'm talking about it early in. The data shows something different, and you guys poo-poo it. And she's basically telling a guy who's an epidemiologist teaching at Yale that you're an idiot based on what? Based on the political science that they're able to spin. Both sides do it. So it's a fair question to ask, whose science do I believe? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program. I'd love to hear what's going on good in your life. You can text the show. You can tweet at me at Chad Benson Show, because I think good things are going on. Shouldn't always be negative. We need to look for the more positive. It's okay to have a real understanding of stuff, but it's also okay to realize that if you take a step back and go, okay, all right, I got good things going on. 323-538-2423. Speaking of good things, speaking of science, I don't know if it's science, but I'm just throwing out. Raycon, best earbuds around. That's Chad science. But Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, pretty good with the sound quality. They love it. Earbuds are important. All you have to do is watch television and see everybody who's doing their Zoom interviews, no matter what it is, whether it's sports or entertainment or politics, and they got the silly headbuds that don't look really good with the wires. Nobody ever gets the stems right. They kind of stick out, look like they're antennas, or they got dangling wires. Get rid of that. These are the best. They fit right in your ear. You barely feel them. Nice noise isolating fit. 6 hours of talk time. Amazing bass, sound quality that is second to none, and they start well under $100. They're the E25s from Raycon. You go to buyraycon.com/Chad. When you do, you save an extra 15%. Best earbuds, half the price. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Microsoft gains the important consumer market again, those younger consumers, in taking over the app. But they're not taking over, at least as of now, the entire app. They're taking over the US, Canadian, Australian, and New Zealand portion. And we've yet to see a social media app that's defined by geography. If you think about Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, these are all multinational. There aren't countries that we've just decided are no longer on the platform.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out how they're going to do it. Basically, what they need to do is because they're not buying the app, right? They can build something easily. I mean, yeah, Instagram in the last couple days has started TikTok-like opportunities for you to do on Instagram because they see that you're buying the audience. So with that, you want the codes. It's how do you engineer those codes to protect other powers from getting inside and monitoring? And that's tough. I mean, it's a tough thing to do. But Microsoft does it. They become a player in a heartbeat. I mean, in a heartbeat, they become a player. Like, boom. We'll see if they do it. I'm not quite sure it's going to get done the way that people think, but you never know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Flying soon.
JetBlue announcing it will commit to keeping middle seats open through at least October 15th, making a promise that goes beyond other airlines. Some like United and American stopped blocking middle seats weeks ago. And now, like other airlines, JetBlue will no longer allow passengers to claim they're exempt from face mask rules. And masks on JetBlue can no longer have valves. Those valves allow unfiltered air to flow out when a person is breathing. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Alex is funny. We'll have Alex on our show here, and Alex brings his own audio with him. So if he wants to play something he's working on, he plays it. It's just, he's great. You knew eventually that the seats were going to all go back to where they were. At the end of the day, they're hurting for money. They've cut back tremendously. The travel industry for the foreseeable future, and I'm talking about the next 18 to 24 months, it's going to take a long time to get itself back on its feet from the comfortability level. But they're going to go back to the third seat once they think, hey, the face masks are working. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It's pretty unbelievable to hear people in this side of the aisle making $175,000 a year as U.S. senators. Most of my colleagues are millionaires, and they complain that these unemployed workers are getting $600 a week. They complain that these workers are getting too much money as we earn $175,000 a year.
That's Sherrod Brown right there. It's pretty crazy. People are fighting over $600. It's not they're not fighting over $600, right? They're not. They're fighting over a lot of different things, and they're fighting over. By the way, by the way, just to let you guys know, he's got some deep pockets too, Sherrod Brown. They're fighting over stupid stuff. They are, and. What's that stupid stuff? Well, the stupid stuff is, how much can I get inside of this bill? That has nothing to do with the coronavirus. How much more can I get into it? How much pork? Republicans are like, you know what we really need? A $2 billion FBI building. And we need some money for an F-35. Mitch McConnell. Nancy's like, we need to take care of the states because their tax revenues have died and nobody can pay their union pensions anymore. No, we don't. We need to take a step back and go, what do the American people need? Not this. They don't need this. They don't need you guys fighting over crap. They don't. They need you guys to actually do something. What is that something? Extend it with a deadline date. And Nancy, the deadline date is not the end of March. Deadline date, if you need to extend it, and it's going to be a clean bill, and you're going to give liability waivers essentially to all businesses, because that's what the Republicans, that's their big thing. Meaning, you have a business, you work there, and you choose to work at that business, and you get COVID, you can't sue that business. First of all, I don't even have any idea how you could possibly say you got COVID from any place unless you do absolutely nothing but live in that place. You don't leave. You don't come in contact with another human being anywhere else. Outside of that, I couldn't even tell you. And that's what the Republicans want. So, and I'm going to throw this out there. This is, you guys are going to be like, huh? Think about this for a second. Imagine the liability that businesses will have moving forward if they say, hey, you know what? You remember when you sued for COVID? Yeah. You could probably sue for the flu now, too. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So give the Republicans that. Get your $600 a week until the end of the year. After that, all bets are off. It's time for people to get out there and start working. It's time for businesses to open up. It's time for us to put this crap behind us, start learning how to live with it, live through it, live around it. That's the reality of where we are at this time. How do we get there? It's not wait till there's some sort of magical virus vaccine smasher that comes out whenever. It's not. Look at the numbers in a non-panic way and go, mortality rate, pretty damn low when you think about how many people get this. When you think about how many people get this. And it's funny when you say that, people are like, oh, Chad, you're an awful person. 157,000 people have died. 158, 59, yeah. It's awful. Nobody wants that. By the way, somebody today is dying of heart disease and cancer. Why is there not a tote board like they have on CNN and MSNBC and all these? Why is that? Because it's not political. So we take a step back. We social distance as best that we possibly can. We take some responsibility in the independence that we have here in this country because we are so fiercely independent. Hence the reason why we're a republic. We have 50 states that are 50 mini countries run in their own ways. We take a step back, deep breath, and we go, you know what? I'm willing to get out there and get back to work. I'm willing to get back out there and live my life. I'm willing to get back out there and not believe that 3 million people are going to die. That's what we were told, remember, originally? And now it's 150-some thousand that have died, which is unfortunate. But now it's time to say, well, how do we move forward? Because we're on the verge of financial collapse. That's huge, right? We're on the verge of financial collapse today. Once again, unemployment numbers showing a little sign of life, but
nearly 1.2 million American workers filed new claims for unemployment benefits last week, the lowest weekly total since March, but still historically high, and a sign the coronavirus pandemic has yet to loosen its grip on the U.S. economy. Cases soared across the country last month, pausing reopenings or shutting down businesses again. The $600 weekly supplement that has helped the unemployed pay their bills has now expired.
Yeah, and I think they'll get a job done. White House wants it done by tomorrow night, which means they'll work over the weekend. They'll get it done. Trump will sign it. We'll get on with our lives. And now we need to start reopening. And we need to start putting stuff in there, incentivizing people when they have the opportunity to get back out there and work to do it. Through no fault of their own, some places they can't. It shouldn't be all or nothing. Little social distancing. Wear a mask is when applicable. I continue to say that. You're in your car by yourself. You wear a damn mask. No. Duh. You're at the park, hanging out, working out with your friends, taking a walk with your family. Do you wear a mask? Yeah. No. That's stupid. You're going into a store. They're asking you to wear a mask. You wear a mask. It's not a hard thing to do. Do the best you can to keep away. I say this all, and producer Phil and I have talked about this. For me, if I went on a cruise ship, which I wouldn't do, there's no chance you get me on a cruise anytime in the near future. No chance. I mean, of all the travel and industries that are going to have the hardest time rebuilding, the cruise line industry is going to. But they have the norovirus, which is easy to catch, and it makes you violently ill. I mean, you got it going out all places. If I was on a boat and the norovirus started to spread, I'd stay in my room the whole time. There's my social distancing right there. Why? Because I don't want to get sick. It's simple. Not that I believe it's going to kill me. I don't want to get sick. We have gotten to this place now, much like in politics, where we're all or nothing. Stop it.
Some people tend to think you either need to shut down completely, or some people then think, let it rip, just do anything you want. No, you can proceed to open up the country and get the economy back, even when you have situations that we have now, so long as everybody does 5 or 6 fundamental things. So we've got to get away from that all or none phenomenon.
Yeah. It's not all or nothing. It shouldn't be. Japan basically kept themselves open. People wore masks. You know the other thing Japan did, people aren't talking about, needs to be talked about? They're not fat. They have 3% obesity rate. We have about a 40% obesity rate. Same thing with China. Can't talk about that, Chad. That's fat shaming. Call it what you want. That's reality. All of us could use some LBs. And the difference is we're sitting at home and what are you doing? We're snacking. Tastes nice. Not even working out. We shut down gyms. It's funny. It's not all or nothing. Little things can go a long way to getting us back into a position where we're really feeling like we're moving forward. Some of it is absolute politics. Wear a mask when applicable. Little social distancing. I see no problems. Wash your hands. Do I really have to say that? People have to say that? Now, I think when they say wash your hands, let's be real. We're at the point now, and I don't know about you guys, but you know, you when you're in a group of people, whatever it is, at work or something like that, even there's only 5 or 6 of you when there used to be 50 of you, like us here. We used to have about 100 people a day in the building. Now, 10 to 12. But I'll go do my walks. I walk around. I'll go get something to eat at the little cafe next door, and they're only open like every other week. And I'll come back up, and I'll touch a few things, and get myself situated. And I'll go wash my hands. I didn't go to the bathroom. I just had to go wash my hands. Thought, it's easy. Put a little Purell on. Whatever. It's just the little things. But the washing the hands thing, I was like, do we really have to tell people to do that? Apparently we did. Shouldn't be that hard. We're not in a great place as far as what's happening, but we were in a great place because of who we are and the country we're in. Enough of the negative. It's okay to be a realist in what's going on, but we could be positive in how we're going to get to the next step. And if we'd stop fighting with each other and fight this thing in a way where we're going, all right, so this thing's not going anywhere. We're going to have to live with it. We're going to have to live through it. We're going to have to live around it. But it doesn't mean we have to stop. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Text the program as well. I'm asking people, what's going on in your life that's good? Producer Phil, tell me something good about your life.
I'm hanging those JBLs tonight.
Yeah, little JBL. We were just talking about stereos. Now, did you get the bar or did you get speakers?
I got speakers because I have a nice receiver and I had blown out my old speakers, so mostly because I got a new subwoofer too.
Look at that. You turned it up to 11. See? Good things. Little smile. Laugh a little bit. Stop arguing. Find some commonality. We're going to be fine. MyPillow. Great. Sleep. Better. All the time. I love my MyPillow. My Giza sheets, and I'll tell you why. Because we got our mattress, the purple mattress, which I love, and it's hard to find sometimes sheets that actually are deep and they fit and they don't pop out. These things are amazing. Soft quality like you could not believe. You got the MyPillows, the towel sets, the roll and go anywhere pillows, duvet covers. They got to buy one, get one free. Everything's made in the USA. Everything is made in the USA. You get a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Here's the other beauty of MyPillow. You go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Benson. When you do that, on the way out, you get Mike Lindell's book. Talk about a guy who went from nothing and real hardship that he created on a massive issue for himself with drugs, and he built a great life. It's a great inspirational book. When you order that, he's going to ship everything for free and give you a $25 gift card towards your next purchase. Go to MyPillow.com. Take advantage of the BOGO. Buy one, get one free. Use the promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let's take a look and see what's trending on the interwebs from around the United States of America. Jake Paul, yesterday, they swarmed his house. He's a YouTube star. He's got 20 million subscribers. And he's obnoxious, so's his brother. Always doing something stupid. Love to piss people off. The Canadian National Post once described him as moronic menace to society. But FBI agents executed a search warrant for unknown reasons. Don't know what it is. A lot of people are trying to figure out what he did. He's always doing something stupid. Was it menacing and bad? Don't know. Do not know. Is it underage sex? Because that's been alleged before. Is it drugs? Do not know. Do not know at all, kids. Big Brother 2020 announces his all-star cast. That's trending. See, I like it when it's not coronavirus. It's not. It's beautiful. You just look and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. It's like all these great things. Instagram Reels, which is the rival to TikTok, is trending right now. That is cool. The Bruins hockey team, for weird reasons. I don't know if you saw this, but the Bruins actually photoshopped a police logo out of one of their things, and you're just like, what? Because that's where we are. Because, that's where we are now. Police, bad. Photoshop it out, bad. Lucille Ball is trending. It's her birthday. Here's something with Lucille Ball. It's because of her that we have Star Trek. So The Untouchables ended. She was one of the only independent studios, Desilu Production. She wanted another hit. They gave her two choices. They gave her Mission Impossible or Star Trek as these scripts. And she's like, everybody's like, we're going with Mission Impossible. She's like, nope, Star Trek. She thought it was like USO performers traveling all over. It wasn't. But they made the pilot. It flopped. Very expensive. They only kept Spock, made another pilot. But it's because of her that she picked up Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek and rocked and rolled it. Hashtag what? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program as well. The other thing trending, do you see that bride in Beirut when she's out there taking her pictures and then the blast happens and wow. And the first thing that came to my mind is, who gets married on Tuesday? It looked like a big wedding. She is fine, but it was terrifying. It's nuts. It is absolutely crazy. Nuts to watch that thing. Trump is still saying, well, it could be bombs. We're never going to know because that entire area is full of misinformation, disinformation. It is, but it is devastating to see the aftermath of that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So I'm reading this article in the LA Times today. This is the headlines. If you're in love with Trader Joe's, its stance can also break your heart. That's the way it sounds. Because Trader Joe's did what companies need to start doing. They said no. They said nope. No. We're not going to change the name of this. But we signed an online petition and people are upset about it. Because some 17-year-old kid in New Jersey or New York said, Trader Jose's and Trader Ming's is racist, and I'm woke, so you need to change all of this. And they said, nah. They're like having a contend with a wedge issue. A wedge issue? What the hell are you talking about? Everybody over the age of 30 is like, how is this a wedge issue? Well, it says Trader Jose's. Okay. Trader Joe in Spanish? Trader Ming. Is Ming not a name? Is that slang for something? It's a turnoff for young shoppers. You guys have no money. What are you doing shopping at a place? You guys should be shopping at Walmart where there's deep discounts. You don't need $9 root beer. You need to get a job. That's what you need. What do you need? You need a job. You need to stop thinking about Trader Ming and get yourself a trader-ass job. That's what you need. Because you're trader broke from being trader woke. They're looking for a community and a brand that promises. So stupid. Oh, my God. I just like it. They just said, no. No, we're not going to. It's so stupid. It really is. It is so... They got 5,000 signatures. We'll change everything. Change it all. What else? Should we get rid of Joe? Because somebody probably was not woke back in the day, and their name was Joe. So that could be just like, you know, Kindergarten Cop. Remember, Kindergarten Cop was canceled yesterday because of the school to pipeline prison. Do you know the jump that you have to make for that? Do you know that? When people that are on QAnon are trying to make a connection between ping pong pizza and children and the Clintons, and people are like, oh, God, those people are nuts. And you can make the jump from Kindergarten Cop to Birth of a Nation to the pipeline to prison over policing in a 1990 comedy movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, no, they were really torturing me. That kid's like, it's a tumor. And I'm like, it's not a tumor. That's just as insane. It really is. Trader Joe's did the right thing. They said the word that needs to be said more often. No. But no. But it says Trader, no. But it says Trader, no. No. This is what they said. It perpetrates harmful stereotypes and exoticizes other cultures. For the love of God, what does that even mean? Exoticizes? Aren't other cultures supposed to be neat? Don't people think about ours and fantasize if they're in other places about the American dream and all of these things? Isn't that part of the fun? Right? Like, is it part of the fun of living and going to a place like Britain, for instance? Is going to a pub, eating bland food, going to a soccer match, singing songs loud? Isn't that kind of that's just it's white patriarchy power. The word that needs to be used more often in this day and age is no. We will not. We heard you. but we disagree respectfully? The answer is no. It's not hard. It's not. Look, Aunt Jemima's, Uncle's Ben's, Eskimo pies, understandable. It's just so ridiculous that we're at this place. The cancel culture is ridiculous, and it's real. It's real. It's here. It's not going anywhere. It's just time for companies to say, we're selling food. You're peddling propaganda. Different thing. No. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us and text the program as well. Love hearing from you. Here's something else I'm going to throw out there. All right. In this world of young kids who are pissed off and angry at the world for whatever reason because they've gone to school and found out that the entire world is a bunch of crap. And really what they're protesting against is the fact that they're going to have to grow up and get a job. Is the whole Ellen thing. All right. The whole Ellen thing.
Everyone from Kevin Hart to Katy Perry speaking out in support of Ellen DeGeneres. Kevin Hart writes on Instagram that Ellen is one of the dopest people on the planet and has treated his family and team with love and respect from day one. Katy Perry writes on Twitter that Ellen has always fought for equality. Diane Keaton, Ashton Kutcher, and Alec Baldwin also posting messages of support, and many on social media responded saying, sure, she's nice to you because you're a celebrity. DeGeneres has been under fire over reports that the work environment on her daytime talk show is toxic, with many of the execs under Ellen accused of verbal abuse, sexual harassment, and racism.
Sexual harassment, racism? No, it shouldn't happen. So bring those out. Who did those specifically? Who did those? What did they do? Talk about it. Does it start at the top? Yes. Does she know some of the stuff's going on? I would assume there's probably whispers. She's a diva. She's hard to work with. Welcome to the world. Well, people are mean to me. Get over it. Get over yourselves. Get over yourselves. You don't understand. They yelled at me. But they were mean. Again, So what happens when we have, and I blame the parents, a lot of people my age, who've raised kids who believe that they can do no wrong. They must be treated with so much respect because their ideas absolutely matter more than everybody else's ideas. That every painting they did when they were a kid went on the refrigerator, and why it's not hanging in the Louvre or the Metropolitan Art. Why? I don't know. How dare you talk down to me? How dare you argue? How dare you read me the riot rat? How dare you do that? Stop it. It's a bunch of crap. The DJ for Ellen, right? This is the new thing. The DJ for Ellen is now complaining. Toxic work environment. Okay, toxic work environment. What did you do before Ellen? Right? Like, what did you do before Ellen? What did you do? Right? Were you like a superstar? Just, I'm asking. Now, he's on Bob Hart's Abishola, but he was the resident DJ on the show from 2003 to 2013. Do you think you got that because you don't think this helped? People ask me, like, I'm going to go, I'm mentoring somebody, and I'm going to go see her later on today because we have social distance, and it's part of a program. And she asked me the other day, she goes, how did you get where you get? I said, well, you know, my road is windy, and it's weird. But I said, let me tell you, I worked with a guy, going almost 30 years now. 25 years ago, I worked with a guy for about 2 years. His name was Robert W. Morgan, a legend in the radio industry for two things: being a legend and being the worst person on earth to work for. Being horrible. And I'm not just talking about it. I'm talking about today he would be fired in 2 minutes, and they would be paying out money like you could not believe. You shouldn't have had to take that. I didn't like it, but I learned, especially as a young guy. Didn't like any of it, but I learned. Kept my mouth shut. Kept saying, well, you know what? You get through this, I'm going to use you back, because what I'm going to get out of this is going to take me further, and it's going to make me better. And I did. Just having Robert on my resume got me phone calls from stations all over. He taught me a ton, including how not to treat people. But I learned a ton. Now, if I was 45, would I have taken it? Probably not. But when you're 22, 23, 24, and you're working and you're learning and you're trying to get something and you're sitting there seeing a guy who's inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and he is a legend, you're going to take some crap. Sucks. Absolutely. It absolutely did. But I learned a ton. I absolutely learned a ton. And by the way, he gave us Imus and about 55 other legendary air personalities, TV people that worked with him. And to show you how big he was, when the Beatles came to America, they wanted to meet Robert. And they said, hey, we need a place to stay because our hotel's crazy. Can we stay at your house? That's the chaos that I worked with, a guy that was a legend, but he taught me a ton. Sometimes in life, you're going to have to fight bullies, you're going to have to get over bullies, and you're going to have to realize it's real. But when you learn to get through it, you also have to think, what am I getting out of this? Is it worth it? Is this worth it? To me, it was worth it. As much as I couldn't stand who he was, big reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because of him. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at me and text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. Wounded Paw Project. Amazing organization. Been working with them a while. You know, for all the things we talk about in this lunacy of coronavirus and all of these things. Think about our first responders out there who are dealing with it day to day and the PTSD that they're struggling with. That's where Wounded Paw Project comes in. They're an amazing organization that rescues animals that would be otherwise put to sleep, trains them from the shelter to become service dogs, to help with physical ailments for our veterans, first responders, and their family, as well as PTSD and many other things. They're absolutely incredible, and they need your help. Now, there's several ways you can help. You can go to smile.amazon.com, set your supporting group up to Wounded Paw Project. I've done that. On top of that, you can donate a vehicle, get a great tax-deductible gift, and you can give cash. It's simple, it's easy, and they need your help. Call them today. Find out how you can get involved. 844-678-4PAW. That's 844-678-4729. Or visit woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
The peer-reviewed study by Italian researchers measured the attractiveness of women with endometriosis, finding sufferers of a severe form of the painful condition to be more attractive than women in two control groups. The study was immediately criticized when it was published in the Journal of Fertility and Sterility 7 years ago, with fellow scientists and doctors calling it disgusting, sexist, and bad science. The Italian researchers have now asked that it be retracted from the journal, issuing a weak apology and saying they believe the study was partly misinterpreted.
I don't even know why you would do that kind of thing. By the way, here's a non-scientific scientific thing. A beautiful woman could have Ebola virus, and there could be other women that are in a non-controlled group, and some of them may not be beautiful, and guys will still be like, yeah, I'll take a chance. My uncle and I were talking yesterday. I think it was the John Quinones. Remember those, what would you do? You put people in weird things. And it was somebody they were stealing bikes, and they were trying to figure out what people would do. So like a black guy stole a bike and people would see it and they didn't say anything, and people would say white guy stole a bike, and people were totally like, they would describe to the police, okay, who was it? What did they look like? And people didn't want to say, but the third one was a beautiful woman, and there were actually people that were helping her. Do we really need science about this? But why you're doing that about endometriosis? Like, oh, she's hot, so she must have endometriosis. That's a bizarre thing. Keeping in Italy and bizarre.
Italian police released the video surveillance footage of a tourist accidentally breaking off the toes of a 19th century sculpture by famed artist Antonio Canova as the man posed for a photo on it. Police were able to track the man thanks to COVID-19 regulations, where tourists must provide identification to help track contagion. The man told police he was planning on letting the museum know it was him and offered to pay for repairs.
I love Italy. Wasn't it Italy where that lady tried to fix that frescoed paint of Jesus, and she painted like a koala bear? It's like the best thing that ever happened to that church too. Like, if I would never have gone and saw that painting if I was in Italy before. Now it looks like a koala bear. I'm like, I gotta go see it. That's a must. It's a must. I'm surprised this kind of stuff doesn't happen more often. There's a reason you can't get close to really expensive art in places, because people are people. And wherever they go, they're there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Before we were talking about Trader Joe's and the fact that people are upset. I don't know who those people are. There's 5,000 people signed a petition because they thought that they were exoticizing and perpetuating some sort of stereotypes because they had Trader Jose's and Trader Ming's. They actually did a poll themselves, Trader Joe's, and like the vast majority, like 80-90% of people, like, we're totally fine with it. More often than not, these companies that cower and change things, the people that are trying to get them to change stuff are not the consumers of their products. So you have to ask yourself, am I doing this because this is the right thing to do and stereotypes need to go away, or because the mob that doesn't consume my products is trying to get me to change my way because it's more about power than anything else? At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The nearly 1.2 million new claims for unemployment benefits is fewer than it's been, but still the 20th consecutive week of jobless claims above 1 million. It may be a sign layoffs due to the coronavirus pandemic are finally easing, even if the economic pain lingers. The Labor Department will give us a broader picture on Friday in the monthly jobs report. Economists expect that'll show job growth and a drop in the unemployment rate.
What? Job growth? Yeah, because we're going to be fine. It so sucks right now, doesn't it? It absolutely does. It sucks. Totally. You know what's great, though? We live in America. You know what is great? We live in the time that we live in. You know what's great? We'll get through this. You know what sucks? This moment, this time, right here. Why? Because we're in the middle of a political pandemic and a pandemic. So other countries got the pandemic. I don't know if you guys saw this. They got just the pandemic. Luckily for us, we got the political pandemic. So we could take everything from masks to social distancing to everything else and make it political. Somebody just said, text me and sent me a picture and says, proof that anybody can argue over anything. Here's a rock. Absolutely. We're going to be fine. We're going to get through this. We need to be a little bit positive. It sucks, I know. But this isn't the 1800s. This isn't even in the early 1900s or the late 1900s. This is now. We will get through this. Jobs will come back. It is going to be a steady, longer growth. Like I said, the whole flip the switch, that's not happening. Just it's a dimmer and we turn it on. No, we had to go get the light bulb. We had to screw the light bulb in. Now we have to turn on the electro. No, we got to go flip a switch. Got tripped, but we're going to get it back on. We are. But there's hot spots. Yeah, there's some hot spots. There's also, this is what also is great. So go look at the hot spots, right? Like California's a hot spot, Florida, Texas. Look at them compared to New York early on, right? New York early on, they struggled tremendously. New York early on struggled in a big, big way. New York City lost 23,000 people on about 231,000 cases. Confirmed in New York at about 430,000 cases, give or take, they lost 33,000 people. Florida and California, between the two of them, have 1 million people that have tested positive. And between the two of them, they've lost only 16,000 people. We're learning how to deal with it better. It is frustrating as it gets. Is it overhyped? It's over-politicized, is a better way to say it. Over-politicized. We live in a world where, once again, we can politicize everything all the time, no matter what. The mortality rate is going down. Trump was right. He couldn't get it out. But yeah, we've got higher numbers. We do. Man, it's crazy. It sucks. We were too busy politicizing it and fighting over it rather than taking personal responsibility and saying, you know what? I don't need to be in a group of people I don't know. I don't need to be around grandma and grandpa. I need to take a step back and maybe, at least for the foreseeable future, be a little smart, wear a mask when applicable. I'm saying that because you don't need to wear a mask inside your house. You don't need to wear one inside your car. If you're on a walk with your family, you don't need to wear a damn mask. But little things like that, we're too busy saying, well, you know what? Not only am I not going to wear a mask, I'm going to run into a crowd and have them breathe on me because I want to show you how independent I am. And then lo and behold, as producer Phil so eloquently always puts, play a stupid game, win a stupid prize. Now that we've got some of that out of our systems and we're learning to treat this thing better, yeah, our mortality rate's going down. Big time. This is, it's the thing with this is the reach with coronavirus, much bigger because it's easier to catch. It's mutated. So the strain we're getting probably isn't as bad as the strain they first got in China. And the European strain that came over has mutated as it's moved on, and it's probably not as bad. And we're also building up some immunity to it inside of the public. We'll find a vaccine. It's going to happen. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be 100%. It isn't. And by the way, obesity is going to play a huge part. They were saying yesterday, here's the big part with obesity. The bigger you are, the less the vaccine is going to work for you. So, that's not nice. That's just what they're saying. I don't know. They could be liars. But we politicized it. Time to take a deep breath, get back on track, start talking about the things that matter. Most people now are not freaking out about it in the way that they were originally when it became panic porn and everybody was walking around saying, well, you get this. It's basically like the Ebola virus. And you're like, it's like the flu in a lot of ways. It's different, but it's, if you're going to try to compare it, it's the respiratory. I mean, and tax the body certain ways. It's different for one person. Never know. This person never knows. This person gets it bad. Don't know why. But that's what it is. But it's not. 99.5% of people who get it are going to be fine. People who are susceptible are the morbidly obese and the elderly and people with serious underlying conditions that may not be either of those. Maybe you're going through cancer treatments. You've got a compromised immune system, whatever it is. Whatever it is. We protect those. We wear masks. We do some social distancing. We live our lives. 6 to 8 months from now, we're in a much better position. We'll look back and go, we should have done something much different. And the first thing that we need to remember is we shouldn't have been so political about it. But I can't blame everybody, so I'll blame politicians because they like politics. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Tomorrow, the White House would like to see something done with the stimulus plan. Will that happen?
Last week, Senator McConnell finally came up with a plan. Does nothing to extend the $600 a week. It does nothing to keep people in their homes and help pay the bills. The last thing we should want is a tidal wave of evictions so that people go into crowded homeless shelters or sleep in their cousins' basements because they don't have a place to live. That bill does nothing to help state and local governments.
Well, state and local governments, in particular in Democratic big cities, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, what'd they do? Well, they're overextended already and underfunded in their giant pensions that they're paying out. Places like Los Angeles, where the amount of money that comes in tax-wise, a good majority of that goes to people who aren't even working anymore. States should get some help, but I don't think we should have to cover all of that. By the way, I also don't think we need a new $1.5 billion or whatever it is, because it'll always be like double that, right? Because it's politics. FBI building down the street from Trump Towers. I also don't think we need some F-35 fighters. I think the bills that need to come out when it comes to the coronavirus should be based on the coronavirus. It's that simple. Trump.
Very importantly, I'm also looking at a term-limited suspension of the payroll tax. The Democrats are primarily interested in a $1 trillion bailout of the poorly run states. We have some states and cities, you know them all. We don't have to go through names, but they've been very poorly run over the years. And we can't go along with the bailout money. We're not going to go along with that, especially since it's not COVID related.
Well, it's COVID related because they're like, we can't open up. Well, Peter Schiff, hedge fund guy, pretty smart guy, economist guy, said maybe if states took more of an active role in having to cover a lot of these expenses, they would have looked at how they would deal with COVID in a much different way and wouldn't have been so reticent to shut everything down extremely fast. It should be COVID related. Let's extend the 600 till the end of the year, but let's give the liability waivers that the Republicans want, and let's just go with that. We don't have to do anything else. We don't have to, we have to do anything else. Just that right there. Let's get it done. When it comes to evictions, that's a tough thing. Why is it a tough thing? Because a lot of people out there are paying mortgages on homes and apartment buildings they own, and they're not getting any money, and they're told they can't ask for any money or evict anybody. So what do? We can figure stuff out. We still have $1 trillion, I think, left in the last one that we haven't even touched yet. We can figure it out. But when it comes to this right here says everything you need to know about the ridiculousness of how some of these big cities have overspent and overtaxed. This is Governor Cuomo.
And I say, you got to come back. When are you coming back? We'll go to dinner. I literally talk to people all day long who are now in their Hamptons house, who also lived here, or in their Hudson Valley house, or in their Connecticut weekend house. And I say, you got to come back. When are you coming back? We'll go to dinner. I'll buy you a drink. Come over. I'll cook. They're not coming back right now.
No, they're not coming back. Why? Well, because of COVID? No.
And you know what else they're thinking? If I stay there, they pay a lower income tax because they don't pay the New York City surcharge.
Right. People are leaving California. Last year was the first year I think they had no growth. And the people that are coming aren't bringing taxes with them. It's a struggle. It's a fine balance. Republicans want the fatness inside of these bills because they got to make sure their donors are fat and happy. And the Democrats want the fatness in here because they got to make sure the people that help them get elected, the unions and stuff, are kept smiling. How about for the exhausted majority of us, you do the right thing by just having a clean bill. That's simple. We're not asking for a ton. We're not asking for a ton. Just a clean bill, get it through. Put some parameters on it that, hey, this is going to go to the end of the year, but we're getting our liability, and then we'll look at the evictions, and we'll look at how we can help people out in that area. But there's got to be a drop-dead date because the money we're printing and the debt we're going into is going to become as dangerous as COVID was supposed to be. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Oh, Car Shield. You're trying to save money. You're thinking to yourself, I would love a new vehicle, but may hold on to this one. I'm worried about the air conditioning. I'm worried about the electronics in the car. I'm worried about the transmission. Car Shield has a plan for you that fits your budgets. Plans start as low as $99 a month. Here you get with Car Shield is 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. And you take it to the shop that you want. You want to take it to your place you guys have used for years down the street that your family loves. Take it back to the dealership. You pay a small deductible. They get them paid directly. It's that simple. Be specific on what you're looking for. Call 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson to save 10%. 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson to save 10%. Tell them exactly what you're looking for. Or go to carshield.com, carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Another day, another fun Joe Biden clip yesterday. His mental physical. Chad, he has a stuttering problem. Now, you just made fun of people who are stuttering. No, he's got another problem. He just answered the iron and told everybody that the refrigerator was his wife. Has nothing to do with stuttering. Well, he had a problem when he was younger. He's older. Much older. So today, and by the way, all of these people, because we got attacked yesterday for making fun of this and asking real questions. It wasn't even making fun. I mean, he does it himself, but asking very real questions about his mental capacity. Everybody glosses over the fact that the black reporter yesterday asked him a question about his mental capacity. And he says, well, it'd be like you doing cocaine or something, and they are telling you to take a cocaine test. Are you a junkie? Oh, my God, Trump says that. What is he? Biggest racist in the world. Trump says all black people are junkies. How about today, Joe Biden?
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Wait, what?
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
So black people, African-American community, however you want to be referred. I usually call you by your name. Like your name's Steve, I'll call you Steve. But, because remember, the left only sees color. You guys are not diverse. There's nothing about you that's diverse. You guys don't even know. You groupthink, fantastic. Remember, if you don't vote for Biden and the Democrats, you ain't black because you're not diverse. And the Latino community's uber diverse. Trump says that. And Trump says a lot of crap. Look, I'm not here to defend Trump. Trump says all kinds of crap that gets himself in more. Imagine a world where Trump did what he did to get elected, comes more towards the center. in some ways, still fights every now and then, still does some stuff, but it's not nonstop. He'd be like, oh my God, he's amazing. Right? Some people still be that way, but we live in a right and left world in so many ways. But that's not the world we live in. Trump does all kinds of crazy stuff, and he gets called out for it. He should. Doesn't get called out for it. He should get called out for it. Imagine a world. You guys, notable exceptions of people out there who are people of color, African Americans who have some conservative mindsets, but but outside of that, you guys have no diversity amongst yourselves. Oh, good God. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Text the program as well. Love hearing from you. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The Senate's August recess was scheduled to begin next week, but with coronavirus relief negotiations still ongoing, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said Thursday,
"The Senate won't adjourn for August unless and until the Democrats demonstrate they will never let an agreement materialize."
Democrats, meanwhile, continue to blast Republicans for the 2 months of inaction on a relief package after the House passed a version in May. The White House has set a tentative Friday deadline for the talks.
Because the House version had billions of dollars in it for state that were struggling. Well, Chad, to cover the fact that the windfall that they usually get from the ridiculous taxes. By the way, California is trying to do a retro tax. Why would they do that? Because they're out of money. They're out of money. They don't got no dollars. They're out of money. Well, they got to pay a lot of stuff, and a lot of that stuff is fat, huge union pensions that are unfunded, that they're struggling to keep up now, long before the coronavirus. And those rainy day funds that they had out there, those things they're exhausted in a lot of places. No, the state should get a little bit of help here and there. I'm not saying they shouldn't. But to the tune of how many billions? I mean, I'm looking at this going, okay, well, I don't think we should have anything in here, but $1.7 billion FBI building, whatever it's supposed to cost, compared to $685 billion is totally different. But at least they're not going on recess, which is things that kids do, because they're kind of like children. So frustrating. It's so frustrating. Just get it done. It's a stimulus. It shouldn't be that hard. It should be a straightforward look. Let's come together and just we don't have to meet in the middle. We're willing to give you your must-have, which is $600 a week, but we're going to only extend it. We're not doing it to March, Nancy. We're going to do it to January 1st, okay? And on the other side of things, we want liability waivers for businesses, schools, things of that nature, to shield them from lawsuits. And we can move forward. But this isn't about that. It's about how much pork they can all get. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. It's got to be hard being a politician.
We know this, that the bar for us, the bar for you as your freshman, as a freshman member, the bar for me as a freshman member, for Ayanna, Rashida, everybody is so much higher than it is normally for a lot of, especially mediocre Republican freshmen. So it's like, oh, you introduced this sweeping legislation. Why didn't you pass it yet? And we're like, first of all, we've been here for 5 minutes.
AOC. So hard being her. So hard. Is it really hard being you? I mean, honestly, is it really? I mean, just be honest. Is it really, really hard being you? I'm just curious. Our bar is, first of all, I don't know about you guys, but the last time I checked, when you go look at Congress, that bar is not very high at all, like, period. Like, not high, like so low that we could jump over it, no problem. She's not done, though, because, again, it's tough. It's tough for her.
Even with resolutions like the Green New Deal or your housing resolution or lots of other big progressive resolutions, we've actually been creeping towards getting a majority of the Democratic caucus signed on board. And so a lot of people think that there's only like 2 people on the Green New Deal. No, there's over 100 members signed on of Congress signed on to the Green New Deal.
It's nuts. 100 members. 100 members. 100 members. 100 members. On its way to the Green New Deal. God, could you imagine how expensive it is to live in New York and places like that with the Green New Deal? Could you imagine that? Could you know how insane that is? What it would be then? We're not done, though. They're tough. Ilhan.
For freshmen like you and I, be able to get one amendment passed, let alone, right, like double digits and like dozens. And I think that I think people see like our celebrity status. They see like the amount of support we have outside. And oftentimes like they forget how challenging it is to be in an environment that like doesn't expect you to succeed.
I don't expect, before I knew who you guys are, I don't expect anybody in politics to succeed. Because usually when they're succeeding, it's costing us money or taking away something that we used to enjoy. That's usually the success of government. Hey, guess what? We succeeded today, which means you lose. Yeah? Oh, absolutely. Even when you take for instance, the battle of what's going on with the stimulus package. Rand Paul hits it out of the park.
I'm very upset with my colleagues. They went 8 years. They should apologize now to President Obama for complaining that he was spending and borrowing too much. He was a piker compared to their borrowing that they're doing now. So, yes, these Republicans, they should have to apologize, and they should by law be forbidden from ever saying that they're fiscally conservative. That's just tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. Remember, when they're succeeding, usually we're failing. And they talk about their celebrity. They see us and they see our celebrity. And they're like, oh, they're working so hard. It's so hard for them to work. It's so hard for those people to work in this celebrity environment. I don't even know how they do it. Oh, my God. I work a lot of hours. People are like, man, you work a lot. Like people around here are like, you work a lot of hours. I get here today I got here about 3:15 in the morning. I won't get out here until 6 o'clock tonight. I'll get home at 7. I love what I do. I'm not outside swinging a hammer on a roof. Settle down. I'm going to hit golf balls in a little bit. Yeah, I work hard. I love what I do. It's my passion. I talk to politicians. I have a few friends, or people I would call friends, who are politicians. And I won't have them on the show. And I have criticized them in the past and will continue to do so. That's just part of the business, man. It's business. You know that. But we'll talk all the time. One of them is a very nice guy. He's in a tough re-election. And he's just like, it's not that hard. It's not. You're making things much harder than it needs to be. But that's politics. Like, how can I make something that should be so simple? Like, this should be the easiest thing to do. How can I take this and make it hard? How can I make the other people, the sheeple out there, realize without our guidance, without our help, they could get nothing done except everything they needed to get done? Really? Yeah. It's just so ridiculous. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Do you want to know how things are ridiculous? Remember what I said? They usually when we see them succeed somewhere, somebody's losing. Something stupid's been passed, some bizarre ordinance. Case in point, the thong.
A woman is handcuffed and dragged off a beach by police. Her crime? She wore a skimpy bikini.
Some Karen decided that my body was offensive to her.
Sam Panda, a professional acrobat, was on the beach in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, when another woman complained about her thong bikini.
Apparently, Myrtle Beach has an ordinance that says you can't wear thong bikinis.
By the way, Sam can pull it off. Just what you guys, she can pull it off. Okay. And I'm like, okay.
This isn't something that I knew.
Sam kept her cool while being detained as her friend pleaded with police.
So why is it illegal to have a bikini on the beach?
I literally wear this to the beach every day. Show you. We're going to show. Sam asked the officers to read her the specific ordinance.
Remember, somebody had to go put this in. Well, Chad, it was really skimpy. I know that. Somebody complained. Get over it. My sons are looking at your butt. Well, I have news for you. If she's wearing a one-piece, probably still looking at her butt. Probably still gazing over at her buttocks.
Shall be unlawful for any person to appear in the nude on any public beach or any public property in the view of the public.
She had this response.
I'm not nude. So nobody's nude.
After nearly 10 minutes, the cuffs came off and Sam was free to go on her way, still wearing her thong bikini.
Would you ever wear that bikini again?
I will 100% wear that bikini again.
Good. They finally turned her loose. Because somebody is like, you know what we should do? We should make sure that women don't wear a thong on the beach. Like, this is in the 1900s, and I'm talking about like 1920. Like, just get over it. Wasn't that bad. Well, you could see her. Get over it. Like, what is this bizarre world that it's like, my son's look. Your son is on TikTok all day. Well, that's so. He's watching people play games. No, he's not. He's watching a few people play games. He's just waiting and counting down the days till he turns 18 so he can go to OnlyFans. Oh, my God. OnlyFans. You guys. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me and text the program as well. Yeah, Sam's one of those, like, what are those ropes, or those things that dangle down and you could swing around on them and stuff. She's one of those. She pulled it off. What I'm trying to say is she looked okay. Valor Gold Group, man. You see what's going on with the dollar? Getting thumped. Why? Because it is. You need to figure something out. You got your portfolio. You're looking around. You're saying to yourself, got some money. I needed to diversify. Not quite sure what's going on with the stock market. Let me tell you what to do, okay? Talked to me the other day. I said, can I just have him call you? And they're like, yeah, those are great. So my buddy over at Valor Gold Group, who handles all my stuff, right? He does my stuff. He's my dude. His name's David Wilson. He's the managing partner. He said, give him my direct line. Not the line that you call 800. No, give him my line. This is me. You're calling me. Call David now. It's no call center. It's none of that stuff. Straightforward. Call him now. Say, I want to get some of that. Gold has a shot of going to 3,000. The movement is starting to happen. Diversify, protect your portfolio, and build wealth. 714-657-7990. That's the number. Write it down. David Whistling, his direct line. 657-7990. This is it. It's in my phone number. It's like if I'm texting him, hey, what's going on? This is the number. He, managing partner, Valor Gold Group, he's going to show you what you need to do. He's going to talk about strategies, diversity. He's not saying give me all your money. What he's saying is, hey, you got an IRA? Let's do something smart with it. How would you like to be up 300% compared to where you were 20 years ago if you put the same amount of money in the stock market? Let me show you how. Call David direct, 714-657-7990, 714-657-7990. Protect your wealth and retirement today with my personal advisor, David Wilson, and the guys over there at Valor Gold Group. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
What folks are doing, whether intentionally or unintentionally, they're confusing two different activities that are going on in Portland. Peaceful protesting and the violent activity that we see between midnight and 5 a.m. there every morning.
That's Chad Wolf. I love when people say it's mostly peaceful. What did Benton Shapiro say? You know, O.J. Simpson was mostly peaceful that day. It's mostly peaceful. The Titanic had a mostly safe trip. So silly. Portland's still a mess. Doesn't matter. And why are they protesting? I will tell you this again. Has nothing to do with George Floyd. Has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. A majority of them that are protesting, and if you ask them all, they'll give you 10 different answers. A majority of them that are protesting, and I'm talking about the ones who are trying to break things and the ones who are there all day and stuff, they're protesting growing up. The other ones, they're just out to break a bunch of crap and scream and yell, and they're growing up has never been an option for them. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Simpsons star Harry Shearer.
For years, Harry Shearer has voiced dozens of characters on The Simpsons, including Dr. Hibbert, who's black, and Shearer doesn't seem to see that as an issue.
The job of the actor is to play someone who they're not.
The show, along with several others, made a decision recently to stop using white actors to play people of color, something Shearer discussed with the UK's Radio Times.
People from all backgrounds should be represented in the writing and producing ends of the business, so they decide what stories to tell.
But when it comes to the performers, again, he says,
the job is playing the part of someone you're not.
Just like he's not an evil nuclear plant owner like another character he voices, Mr. Byrne.
Yeah. That's what acting is. Acting is stretching yourself. Acting is doing something different. I'm playing a part which I'm not. That's what acting is. Right? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop before it got canceled because of the Birth of the Nation and, of course, the pipeline to prison thing that totally represented. He was not really a cop or a kindergarten teacher. Really wasn't even an actor. So Seth MacFarlane is not a dog. You guys recognize, like, Brian is not a dog. Brian is a cartoon character who's written by other people. Right now, they're mad at Shia LaBeouf, and there's lots of reasons to go, that guy's a bit off the rocker, but he's a pretty damn good actor. In fact, he's not a damn good actor. I would say he's probably, when he's out there, you could put him up there with young actors. There's very few that hold the kind of ability this cat has, and he gets into it. He's a bit weird. He flies close to the flame. He's in a new movie called The Tax Collector, and he plays, quote unquote, a cholo. Should he even be doing that? Yeah, you're stretching yourself, right? Like, the whole point. That's the point. You're doing something you're not, right? Like, straight people can play gay people. Gay people can play straight people. Stretching yourself. It's amazing. Good God. Every time I hear stuff like that, I say, once again, this is why Trump. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Will there be a new deal when it comes to the stimulus?
The Republicans do not understand the gravity of the situation and hence have not taken the actions to stop the spread of the virus.
So it's only the Republicans. And they don't understand gravity. Remember, they're anti-science. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. All day, check out my Twitter. What's positive? Tell me something positive. Tell me something positive. You have a blessed, wonderful day. My positiveness is I get to hang out with you guys every day, and that's awesome. Plus, I'm going to hit golf balls. Oh, my goodness. I see Friday. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.